You're listening to Business Podcasting Made Easy, the influencer's formula, and you're getting a roadmap to instant authority and thought leadership with a podcast, a book, a course, all of the things that you're proud of on the IBGR network. This is episode 39, Leverage, all about leveraging from podcast to evergreen course. Make money while you sleep. I love that. I'm Donna Cundy, co-founder of the IBGR network, global radio authority, podcast expert, and producer of over 14,000 podcasts.
And I'm Ben Joya, three-time international best-selling author with teachings that reach more than 50,000 people worldwide, thanks to leveraging my books. And we are here to help you get your podcast done 13 minutes at a time in just 13 weeks. And remember, with your podcast done, you've done 80% of your book. You have all sorts of amplified, leveraged, repurposable content, and you will stand out. This is what we're talking about, being that instant authority and thought leader through this process of creating your podcast. So remember, you can follow the plan easily at influencersformula.com. And if you want direct live support from us for your business podcast and book and all that other stuff, contact us today at ibgr.info. And that leads us to a fabulous reminder from our friend Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die.
I mean, there's some people that want to do that, I'm sure, Ben, but you know what I find really interesting is how many business owners, especially the heart-centered, service-based business owners, that never even think about not doing their job, that never, or doing their work or they never think about retirement. They never think about selling it. They never think about the end game. Do you find that?
I do. And, you know, I love the work that I do. And every single day I'm like, you know what? I look forward to the end of this too. Right? Not in a bad way, but, you know, this is a grand, grand world, grand human experience that we have the opportunity to have. Like, why just work? Even if you're doing stuff you love, like, why would you just do that?
Yeah. And because there's so many business owners that start their own business for freedom. They want some type of freedom. And then, and they don't ever get to the point where they're making money in their sleep.
Exactly. Yeah. So listeners, we invite you to don't do that.
Yeah. Instead, we want you to become a person worth listening to by giving your listeners an opportunity to go deeper into the transformation that you offer. And oh, by the way, when they're going deeper into the transformation that you offer, where we're going with this episode is to create a course that people can find on their own and run through the course, hearing your voice, getting your message, and getting the transformation that they want. For me, we just came off the heels of the membership episode 38. For me personally, membership's not my thing. I'm the type of person that I just give me the information, let me do it on my own. I would want more than an interactive ebook. That's how I am. I love learning. I love courses. And when we're talking about these 4 episodes this week, it's finding that magic to serve all of your audience, all of your listeners in a way that they best learn.
Yeah, I love that. And an evergreen course is such a brilliant way to do that. And it's actually pretty easy. Let me be careful with that word. It's straightforward to make an evergreen course from this process. Sometimes, most of the time, it's easy if you do it the right way and follow what we say, right? And of course, there's, the exciting bumps in the road that come from being an entrepreneur, having your own business, right? So we invite you to, first of all, keep in mind that you can make money while you sleep, and keep in mind that the kinds of things that you offer people, it's really important to understand who your people are. Like, if your people are like Donna, an evergreen course is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful thing to offer. And we talked in a previous episode about creating that interactive ebook, as you're recording your podcast, right? You're taking the transcriptions, you're taking the show notes, you're adding hyperlinks, you're doing it in a running document, a Google Doc, whatever the case may be, right? And then taking all of that and including the expanded content that helps to turn it into a course. So do you have videos? Do you have templates? Do you have PDFs? Do you have checklists? Do you have any and all of those kinds of things, right? And then take all of that and put it someplace where it makes it really easy to put the content together and make it available to people. Like I'm a big fan of Thinkific, right? I use that. Donna, I believe you all use CoachAccountable.
We
which I
do,
think
yeah.
you like.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can, of course, there are WordPress plugins that can do a lot of these things. And I think that, those can be great. I'm not knocking those. But sometimes with WordPress, people will hack into your site through the plugin,
Mhm.
right? So, I've been, twice bitten, completely shy at this point, right? So I do as little as possible. I have a WordPress blog, but I don't really go further than that. And, if there's something here, right, where people can be giving me money while I'm sleeping, I do not want them to get to a hacked page.
Right,
Right.
right.
Right. And then, if you're hearing me say all this right now and you're like, well, that all sounds like, a lot of stuff, just start with something like Dropbox. Put stuff in a folder, password protect it, right? Just give it to people, right? And you can always step up to something like Thinkific or CoachAccountable later.
Yeah, I know even Weebly has membership sites. I just want to also say, when we talk about evergreen course, what does the evergreen mean? Let's just throw a quick definition out there. It means that your content, because of the transformation that it's provided, it doesn't go bad. It's not a current event, so to speak. In the way that we're setting it up, it's a time tested, proven, whatever your zone of genius is. And so you can repurpose and reuse over and over and over again, because
Yeah.
when you're talking about what you laid out and the what you need to know, I think that's fantastic. I also want to throw this out there, Ben, that you've created your roadmap for transformation, and it most likely has different sections to it or different levels to it. Like, so for instance, with us, episodes 1 through 4 is all the pre-work that you do to get behind the mic. Episodes 5 and 6 is when you're actually doing it, you're getting behind the microphone. And then episodes 7 through 10 is the podcast profit playbook 101. Episodes 11 and 12 is the podcast profit playbook 201, the advanced stuff. Each one of those sections, we have 4 courses out of that can be sold separately. And then you can bundle them into the 5th offer that gives the complete program. So consider that as well, that when you're building this out, you can have more than one course from the work that you're doing. Isn't that leveraging?
That's absolutely fantastic. And, if your eyes are glazing at this moment or your head is spinning around at this moment, just remember, this is all actually really straightforward, even if Donna's saying 101 and 201 and these things, right?
Right.
Just subscribe to the show at influencersformula.com, right? And if you want help directly from us, just reach out to us at ibgr.info, right? Because we want you to do the right stuff here, and take that first step, right? Because the first step is the best step. So the first thing is to gather, and or expand your online course content, right? So the things we talked about before, take the interactive ebook, add whatever videos and, various and sundry, other kinds of things. Don't just overload people with stuff. Like, that's not value, right? Be smart, be discerning, and then establish what kind of investment is going to make sense, right? So, it could be, $47, it could be $27, it could be $9.97, it could be $3.47, right? Evergreen, we're probably thinking more, in the, $4.97 and less, and very often I'm thinking $1.97, $2.97, right? But whatever that is, like, get something going and price your course low enough to make it a no-brainer for your listeners or
Absolutely.
and or audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And really, I'm feeling it. I need to say again, if you want some direct support with this, ibgr.info is the way to go. I've got a lot of experience in turning your a podcast into a course that, Ben, you could pretty easily do a slideshow of the key points that you're talking about, and then your podcast runs over it. So So it's a timed thing that they have a visual to go with it. For you and I, we're creating video as we record our audio, so we can have the visual part to that as we're talking people through it, and just adding that extra content that you had talked about that you probably already have because you've been using it with your clients. Then you can brand it to go along with the course. It's just a rebrand in some cases to go along with the course, and that's it. It is pretty straightforward. It is pretty easy to do. And again, you can break it up into several courses because you have the little elements along the way, or just do it all as one big course.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying this.
Yeah. And I want to throw one other thing in there. If you're thinking, well, this is not produced and I don't have good talking head and I've had ums and ahs and it's, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of courses that I have taken where I'm paying for, say, Facebook Live interaction, where the person teaches it on Facebook Live. There's comments that go in there and then they just bundle it as I've paid for those and I'm okay with that. So people will be okay with doing it with you too.
Yeah, they really will. And if you're extra worried about that, you can say to people, hey, this is a beta course, right? I recorded this live. There's a few ums and ahs. It's not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, right? And that's why I'm making it available for X instead of X, right?
Yeah.
That's a great way for helping people understand that they're not going to get necessarily the Mercedes looking thing, right? But they're going to get something super reliable that's going to get them to the destination.
Absolutely. And then as you are starting to sell the beta, it will fund the next generation of your course. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So hey, listener, take a look at your ebook and see where you can take your listeners, your audience deeper and provide more value, right? Because you're going to teach them something, and in teaching something, right, gaps will open up to what they need to do next. And you can't fill all those gaps in the ebook, right? So what's a logical next step? And that's a great thing to focus on for your Evergreen course.
Fantastic. We're going to wrap up this episode now. This is episode 37, Leverage from Podcast to Evergreen Course. Make money while you sleep on Business Podcasting Made Easy, the Influencers Formula. I'm Donna Cundy.
And I'm Ben Joya. Thank you for listening.
We'll be right back.